We are live. Howdy, everybody. This is Prayin'NSquatchin. God bless everybody. I'm here tonight with
Howdy.
Hello.
Wendell Burroughs and the Arkansas boys. I'm going to let them introduce themselves around the campfire there. They are live at their investigation site in Arkansas. So I'll let them take it from there.
All right. Howdy, everybody. I'm Wendell, and this is Dale, Marcus, and Matthew's over here in the white blocking the light here so that you can actually see us. We're here live at in between Heber Springs and Payburn in Cleburne County. We've been out here doing our Bigfoot investigation all day today, and setting up different stuff to where hopefully we can get some good pictures and impressions or tracks casted tomorrow in the area that we made. We took and softened the dirt real soft in like a 20 by 20 area to where it'll make good tracks, and above it we hung bacon that's got apples cut up in it, and it's covered with honey, and hung it up in a tree to where everything can smell it. It's probably, how tall do you think that is, Matthew?
About 11, 12 feet.
11 or 12 feet up, and we got motion lights all the way around it, so when anything gets in there, the motion lights will come on. They're fitted with green light bulbs to where it's all green light, and hoping that won't run them off. We've had a lot of eye shine when we get cameras up in the area, and that's all we'd get, maybe just an outline of something, and we think it's because they're seeing the infrared light, but hoping that this bacon and other things that we have placed out will be more of an attraction, that they'll come on in even though they see the infrared light. So that's where we're at right now. I mean, and
It's attracting me.
yeah, all the guys were saying,
I
yeah,
wanna eat that bacon.
they want to eat the bacon. They can smell it.
That's
So
what I was
it's
just
working
sitting there
that way
thinking.
anyway.
I've never heard of anybody using bacon before, but everybody loves bacon. I would think Bigfoot loves bacon too.
Yeah, we would think so.
I'll tell you what, if he don't like bacon, there
Um,
goes any chance of him being human.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, right out the window.
Yeah.
Well, any animal pretty much they love is attracted to any raw meat like that,
Yeah.
or and like apples and other stuff that we got out. We got honey placed out. So one of them, he gonna like one of it. It just hoping
Well,
it's attractive enough that he'll come in, get a good
with the
picture.
honey, I was going to say, if you don't get Bigfoot, you might have any bears in the area make a beeline for you.
Yep,
Bring the bears running
Yep.
for sure.
Possible.
Have y'all had a lot of luck with the whole baiting?
This is just stuff that people. This is our first attempt at it. We've had several people suggest it and say that they've used it, gifting and of all sorts of stuff. So we got placed around there. So we're gonna see what happens. This is just stuff that people's wrote in and wanted us to try. So we said we're game for it, and this is the best location that we know that there's definitely a family group that stays here, even if the big, what we call the I lost the word. The big male is big red. The alpha male don't usually stay here year round. He moves around, and we have tracks of what we would consider to be the female, and then the smaller ones. So there's a group that's usually around in this area. We say anywhere from 4 to maybe up to 10 at different times during the year.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to figure out if they're staying in the caves, because we find the smaller tracks around the mouths of the caves, and but we ain't narrowed it down to which one they're staying in, or if it's even on this property. This bluff line that we're actually on here runs like 5 miles, and they may be houses down below and up on the top of this bluff line, but this whole bluff line, there's nothing been on it for, I'd say, over 100 years. So that we think that's why they use this area, because it's a direct path pretty much halfway through Cleburne County. So they use it to travel back and forth, this bluff line, because nobody's here.
That makes sense to me.
Any of y'all got anything y'all want to add?
I personally believe they're opportunistic, just like humans. They'll take the easiest path, like a bluff line or ridge line or a power cut. They'll follow them, hang around them. Just easier transportation and easier mobility. Plus, a lot of your game hangs out in places like that too.
Yep. And we think a lot of that I don't really think they migrate, but they'll move with their food source, or at least some of them will. They'll move in an area where there's a lot of deer and a lot of other game, and they'll stay there until it gets low, and then they'll pick up and move 5 or 10 miles and stay there a while. And I think it works in a big circle. Eventually they come back around.
That fits what I've been able to piece together here. Like you said, I don't think they migrate per se very far, at least, but meander or wander. Just like people, again, if the fishing's good here, we stay here. If the fish ain't biting, we move a mile or two up the river. Yeah. Try it there. Try this hole. Same with hunting.
That's it. Yep.
We hear some of the the different reports about the animals around this area like that, and there's so many of them. The one we're after here is, we call him Big Red, because he's like the color of a Irish setter dog, real redheaded. And there's been reports, on the other side of the lake from us and everything else, big red-headed one, And it's got to be the same one. I mean, how many big red-headed Bigfoot you got running around,
Right.
Just how big is Big Red?
I would say he's easily 10 foot.
Wow.
Got a 21-inch track.
Yeah, I saw that where you put it in the group.
So
I'm going to have to look up that chart I had. Like I said, I found a chart online once, and it was semi-complicated math, but by the size of the footprint, you could calculate height and weight by it. And like I said, I'm sure 21-inch print, it's going to be up there. Because humans, I mean, we top out around 7 foot, and none of them got a 21-inch foot on them. I think Shaq's is 18 or 19.
He's still a big old boy, though.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't want to run into him in a dark alley.
That's so, normally we do night recons. That's why I said we'd have time to do this podcast tonight, because the area that we're in is just so treacherous that you can't move around at night, or I wouldn't want to be. It's all geared for their abilities up there, and it's hard to move around in the daytime. I mean, we had to string a rope all the way up through there to get up to the second level, let alone the third level of this bluff line, and it took 2.5 hours to get up there. So it was quicker coming down, because you can hold on to that rope and just about slide down, but
almost repel.
I don't want to be in their game. Yeah, So that's why I said, yeah, we'll do a live broadcast from here, just because we can't do our night recon. We got all the motion lights up there. Our little motion lights has come on, but the big ones that you got the 5,000 watt bulbs, that's the green lights, they ain't come on yet. So they ain't nothing been right at the bacon yet. So that's what we've been waiting for. We've got some thermal cameras and everything. Once the big green lights go on, we're going to kick the thermal cameras on. That way we can see it here. Anything, at least the heat image of anything up there. Even though we can't get up there, but at least we'll have a heat image of it.
Yeah. You can make out size and basic shape anyway. Now, I've always heard that motion lights and stuff's a good way to run them off, but you never know. Like I said, the bacon, I've always said their biggest weakness is curiosity.
Yep. And that's just something we're trying to with the green light and the bulbs is be something totally different. I've had people tell me that they can't, the green light, they don't avoid it as bad as red lights or just the normal light. I can't prove that, so we're just trying it. That's all. One thing leads to something else. Every time we go out, we learn something different. So that's what the name of the ball game is. Just keep trying stuff.
Yeah. Well, they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So you got to keep switching it up.
Yeah. We're good at switching stuff.
I don't. You talk about the different colored lights. I was talking to another researcher, and I had the light bulb come over on above my head here the other night. We had the old style security light here at the house, the electric one, and the house got slapped and everything. They never paid a bit of attention to it. Mm-hmm. We put solar powered lights out there. It seems like they don't like the solar power. That backed them off because that's more like natural daylight, I guess. And the only thing I can figure, their eyes are probably more designed for nocturnal night. And that bright light that's like sunlight probably hurts their eyes. I don't think they're afraid of it per se. I don't think they're afraid of much.
Right. They just avoid it and go around.
Well, it's just like the trail cams we've talked. You get the.
They're just.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, they're smart, and anything that they deem that I don't want to say it could be dangerous, but they don't trust anything, so they're going to avoid it if they see the light or something like that. And especially if the light may be on, but all the time, they might get used to it. But if that light's coming on and off as they move up, that's kind of saying to them, well, something's watching me or something, and I don't need to be there. So I'd see why they'd avoid that kind of light.
Well, those security lights.
Go ahead. What was you saying about?
It started to flicker on and off. It wouldn't stay on all the time. That may be why they didn't pay any attention to it. I don't know, but like I said, I can't prove anything. I just know it seems like the solar lights pushed them back more. Which, as long as they stay out of the yard, down in the field and the woods.
Yeah, usually the older. Right, yeah. Well, as long as they stay away from avoiding you and keeping you up at night and just slapping your house and everything. Dale here.
Looks like a storm.
You had experiences with them throwing stuff at your back deck, didn't you? You want to tell them about that?
Yeah, we finally ended up tearing the deck out. It was just destroyed. We had had damage to our roof one night. Lights went out we were playing games. We had hurricane lamps lit and everything. Well, we decided we'd go to bed. As soon as we blew the lamp out to go in the bedroom, wham, on top of the roof. I was like, wow. I went out there to make sure a limb or something didn't come through the roof. And it raining, and everybody was saying, well, why didn't you get a picture? Well, it was raining, and it was like a big muddy footprint on the deck back there. And it just, I think something had just almost put a hole through the roof up there. I think they were watching us, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if it irritated us or they were irritated that we stopped and they were entertained or something. I don't know what the deal was, but they were pretty crazy.
Well, I can't imagine. I can't, because like I said, we had the house slab, but as far as I know, they was never on the roof. You almost wonder, I mean, as large as they are, it seems like if they was on the roof and they stomped a little too hard, like you said, they'd come right through it. 8-10 foot tall, 600-800 pound creature get up there stomping
I
around.
think this one was actually, I think this was actually standing on the deck and just reached up and hit the top of the roof.
Oh, okay.
Because there was like the muddy footprint there on the deck and
just slapped the roof.
Yeah, and it was like had to be up like 7 or 8 foot to hit the top of the roof there. And so, and it definitely put a hole in it.
That's not unheard of.
We do one of these
What's that?
Right, yeah. We do one of these investigations in the spring and in the fall, or try to. This last year, everything was kind of messed up with the COVID virus and everything, so we didn't get to. We were scheduled to go down to the Ouachita National Forest, and that all fell through. But this fall that's coming up, we're going to try to go back up to Ozark, up in the Ozark National Forest, where we've had some good activity. And we actually got a thermal image of something that was big and human shaped as it went down a bluff line that well, it makes this bluff line look easy compared to where this thing went down. And I just don't see no human that could even go down that at night without a light, and this did. So we want to go back up there. Long story short, we want to go back up there and get in the same positions and measure on the tree height to see how tall this creature was that went down this bluff line. Because we can look at it from, if I stand in the same place where we took the thermal images and somebody goes over there, we can compare it to how high this creature was and figure it out. That'll be interesting. We want to get back up there and do that.
It's always good if you can do a comparison. If you got something to measure it by, or like a tree or fence post or whatever. We got our first comment there. RK Davis 55 said, glad to see everyone made it down. Can you all see when I put the comments on the screen?
Yeah, I see that.
Okay.
Yeah, we all made it down.
Richard, wasn't it?
Luckily, like I said, this time we were smart enough, because the last time I went up there and fell and broke a rib,
yeah,
is we put that rope up as we went up, and that helped a bunch because we had to make several trips up and down. So that helped a bunch to be able to hold on to something to slow your descent and to give you something to pull up on. It helps to have some of these younger boys up here that you can say, go get it.
like a construction crew, go for this, go for that.
Yeah, the Lord blessed us. That's all I can say.
Well, the Lord says use wisdom and knowledge in all things. And like you said, trying to traverse that kind of territory in the night would be the exact opposite. That's about like where I go out by myself.
That's just.
going out and
Right.
pitch
I
black.
like we've talked
creature.
before. Is that it said
Yeah.
that wouldn't be good because it's all in it. You'd be in its territory and its own timeline then.
They've got every advantage.
In the daylight. Yeah.
I don't believe you're going to sneak up on them day or night, but I believe they know the minute you get out of the truck,
No.
start over the hill. But
Very very few occasions that anybody has snuck up on them one as far as, and they wasn't trying to. That was the whole idea of the way they were. Either the Bigfoot, Sasquatch, whatever, was occupied and wasn't paying attention or smelling, because if they're in their own environment and not doing nothing, they know when you get out of the truck. But I can see certain indications when they're in water, or you're floating up on them and from a boat, and they're concentrating on fishing or doing something like that, catching food, or like if a deer's out there and they're hunting, they're paying more attention on it, and you just happen up. I've heard of and had people tell me of certain incidences like that, and I could see that happening, but it'd be very rarely.
well, you hear reports where people will say it looked as surprised to see me as I was to see it. Now I don't know about that, but because I was pretty surprised when I got my partial sighting, but I believe it knew I was there
Right.
a long time before I knew it was there.
I'd say 95% to it happens that way. They know we're here before. Like I said, even when you get out of your vehicle, or if you're just wandering around, one thing, the seeing of us, our breathing and actions, we don't even think about it, but you could hear that if you're out walking, huffing and anything could hurt us today going up and down the mountain as much as we was breathing.
That was like me out today. I was trying to practice the
right.
whole walking on your heels thing, like Native Americans would do to be quieter. Or there was so much leaves and dead grass on the ground and stuff. I might as well have been doing the Macarena down through there. I was not the least bit quiet, even walking on my heels.
Yeah. That's something else. You're talking about that walking and everything. In the areas where we found the tracks at today, you could tell that they were having no trouble at all going through there where the tracks and everything was at. And we were slipping and sliding and moving around. I was telling Matthew, I said, the only way I know that they're able to do that is that they're barefoot and they got their toes be able to, actually grip into the dirt, because you could see the impressions of where it was like it was grabbing and going up the I don't want to say cliffside, but incline. And I was doing everything I could just to barely inch my way up to it. You could tell by the steps that they were taking was 4 or 5 feet apart, and they're just running up it. They had to be. So they're more adapted to living in that environment. And
well, their feet's got the most researchers think it has the mid-tarsal break that we don't have. Lets them use their feet almost like hands, from what I understand, as far as, like you said, digging in and gripping. We got a couple people watching this. If anybody wants to jump in and ask any questions or answers, like I said in my video today, if anybody's got the answer, jump right in.
That's it. Yeah. We have another gentleman that helps us a lot, and he's from the reporting Bigfoot group, and he runs our basically security, because we ain't. I mean, we're good old boys, and we can hunt and do all this stuff and everything, but he's more of the one that's oriented in our safety, tries to keep us safe when we're out in groups and the other groups. And here after a while, I'll bring him on over here, and we'll talk more about this fall's event with going to OARC and stuff like that. But yeah,
That'd
if
be
anybody's got any
interesting.
questions or any ideas,
He could maybe give some tips on security as far as when
do
you're.
what?
I said, when you get him on, he can maybe give some tips as far as security if you're out looking for these things. I'm sure it's probably the same as general security
Oh,
with
yeah.
a bear or a dog or anything else. But I was
Yep.
watching a video last night with Nick, starts with a V. He's one of the heads of the Dog Man Project. And he was showing some of the non-lethal devices he carries and uses for protection on top of just regular firearms. He was real interesting. I said, he's the 007/Batman
Right.
of the Bigfoot world. He's got a utility belt.
Well, you need whatever you can get, and especially if it ain't firearm, you need as much as you. What you want to do is be able to slow them down enough to where you can get away.
Yeah.
Because the majority of the time, he'll tell you, unless you're carrying an elephant gun, you ain't gonna even blow one down. All you're gonna do is anger it. So, you're what you're looking for is to get away in a situation.
Yeah.
And not to be in a situation like that. Look for incidences where you can find an exit beforehand.
Yep.
Just like going up there
Always
tonight, it would definitely have to be a. Do what?
Oh, go ahead. I was going to add something, but go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, if we was going to do a recon up there tonight, it would have to be, as we went up this evening, to stay up there, and you're going to have to be prepared to take on whatever's there until morning. You ain't coming down the mountain until morning, so you better be have that Batman belt loaded to the kilt.
And he has some real nifty gadgets on his. I mean, and he explained each one how it worked and what kind of situation it would be good for. And like he said, not just Bigfoot, for bear, cougar, hogs, people. What I was going to say is if I ever got in a push
Right.
come to shove situation
What was that?
where I had shot at one, I always said I'd shoot for the leg because I can't outrun a Bigfoot. But if I can blow one of its legs off, I might be able to outrun a one-legged Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's what I've always said. The knees, legs, eyes. Yeah, I can get away from one if it can't see. But the thing on that is, hopefully it's just one. If you get in the area where there's more than one, that may actually hurt even more.
Yeah, and usually there's
one
going to be
goes to
more.
screaming. Like I don't know if you ever hunted wild hogs or not.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Once if they scream enough, there's more coming.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I can tell you is, shoot it in the leg, you sure can't run on all fours.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, they go on all fours, but I don't know if they're faster on all. Well, they wouldn't be if one of them was shot anyway.
Well,
I'm like you, Barry. Just shoot it in the knee to get out of the way, and yeah.
That was an old military technique back in Vietnam and
Marcus?
stuff. The Viet Cong admitted they would shoot to wound because when you wounded one soldier, you took 3 out of the fight because 2 would stop to pick him up and carry him out.
That's it. Yeah.
So I don't know if it would be the same scenario.
Bag.
If they're going to stop to help their buddy, or if they're just going to come after you.
I got a tool that Dale made here that come in handy. If I can find it, I'm gonna show you it. Pretty neat invention he made.
Okay.
It's inside the backpack. It's inside the backpack. If it ain't there at the door, it's at the passenger sliding door. But it's kind of an axe deal that we used it to stick into the ground, and that way you can pull yourself up the mountain, and it's pretty much the last defense weapon. If you're if you had to get one in that close, I hope I never have to.
No, I wouldn't want to get in a knife fight with one of them.
But if
And
I
like we
do,
was
this is what I'm glad it's made.
Like we was talking, it probably ain't
That
the one you
dude
see
will get
in
it
front.
now.
Yeah, like a little pickaxe. Kind of, sort of. Or a tomahawk.
Yeah. Kind of, sort of. It's got a point on that side where you can dig it into the ground or whatever you want to. That's sharpened, and then
That's what made me think of the pickaxe.
Tomahawk blade on that side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty neat little deal.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It come in handy today, anyway.
Well, I'd say Arkansas is a lot like Kentucky.
Back
when
to
you
that.
Get further into spring and summer, you almost have to have a machete to hack your way through the woods anyway. The underbrush gets so high.
Yep. For sure.
Come this way.
Sometime in a year or so, I'm gonna try to get out there to Ricky Weaver's. I said sometime within a year or so, I'm gonna try to get out there to Ricky Weaver's and go with him, and maybe come around to where you're at.
Yeah.
Figure out some kind of trip.
In Georgia.
I doubt it'd be this year though, but maybe next spring. Come out and kind of make a big circle and come visit both of you.
Now he told me one of the most mind-blowing stories with one of his encounters he had recorded. I never heard. Did he ever tell you the tennis ball story?
No, I don't reckon.
If you ever talk to him, did he tell you the story about the guy in the tennis balls?
No.
It ain't my story to tell. I won't repeat it.
All right.
Like I say, get him to tell you that one. It was one of them that blew my mind. Not to spoil it, it was one of them that it just demonstrates next level intelligence. I mean, it just removes any.
You're thinking, yeah.
Thought that you're
a lot of
dumb
people. Right. Well, that's some of the patterns that I've seen. We have a friend over there at OARC. We call it Area 2 because there's 3 areas there that we've did investigations in. But seen them actually move stuff around, make different patterns. And I was like, that's first encounter. I said, well, that's takes some intelligence when you make one pattern and it completely changes it to a different shape. And we're like, out of rocks or marbles or limbs and rocks. And you come back and it's changed, and you know there ain't nobody been in that area. So
and the wind ain't gonna pick them up.
It takes some intelligence, like that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
I've got my next couple
we
shows.
got eye shine.
You got eye shine?
Yep. I got the guys that's telling me this.
There's something up.
We got company, man.
My light from right here vanished, then it came back.
Something blocking that light every once in a while.
Yep. Yeah, we got movement up on the mountain. It's going in between our the little lights that we got, motion lights. It's the solar lights, but it ain't kicked the big.
I think it's whatever it is right up on the bluff up there watching.
Yeah.
Oh, right here, I can't see it. Let's move over one step. I can see it.
It may get interesting here after a while.
It could. You completely it made me lose my train of thought when you holler we got eyesight. Whatever I was going to say couldn't have been too important.
What?
Oh, we was talking about next level intelligence and all that. The next couple of shows, whenever I get a chance to get everybody together to do them, I got
Yeah.
a researcher that wants to come on. He's got 2 instances. I told him this is game changing. The level of intelligence it demonstrates. I have to let you know when I get him on, but he had a couple instances in particular. Yeah. Once again, like I said,
Yeah,
that ain't no dumb monkey.
I don't know. Do you see that expedition? I think it was Expedition Bigfoot. Anyway, they found DNA samples, and it says it's a new primate, but it's here. They say it was in the United States. So the DNA sample was.
Here in
so
Kentucky.
I don't know if you've seen that on Facebook yet.
Yeah, the season they're shooting right now is down in southeastern Kentucky, right on the border of Tennessee and either Virginia, I think. Right there in that corner where all 3 states come together. Down around Harlan and
Alabama.
We don't border Alabama, Mom. Tennessee's between us and Alabama.
But they was in all 3 of them states.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I saw it. They said they thought it was closely related to chimpanzee DNA. But not a chimpanzee.
Yeah.
Well, no chimpanzees I know of in Kentucky.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
No,
well, years back,
ain't supposed to be anyway.
Bigfoot group found primate DNA.
Right.
Y'all still getting the eye shine?
Yeah, just
Yeah, I just saw it big time. Down below the bluff. Looked like that far below the light.
Yeah.
It was right down below it.
Well, remember, that's where you were standing at when you hooked the other cord up.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe the big lights ain't come on.
I know it.
Something.
It is something's not up there high enough to trip it.
Also, he could just be sitting there on the bluff.
Yeah, he maybe ain't made it up to the top.
He's sitting there watching.
But,
man, give me chill bumps.
All right, let's wait till you have what happened to me, though.
All right, I'm gonna bring Clint on and introduce him here. This is our security guy that when we try to do something that is stupid, he kind of tells us, you might not need to do that, or we might need to do it this way, or kind of keeps us safe. I don't know. I can't see you.
Can't see me, huh?
It's your light on.
My light's on. Okay.
There we go. This is Clint Holloway from the Reporting Bigfoot group.
How you doing?
Hello. Howdy. Thank you for coming on. God bless you.
Like I was saying, this fall we're going to do our.
Yeah, thank you very much. We got a report about Area 2. You should tell them about the report.
Yeah, go ahead.
They had a 2,500-pound bull ripped apart recently around Area 2.
right after the big snowstorm up here.
And there's supposed to be all kinds of game wardens up in there, and some black SUVs is supposed to come up from Texas. That's what I've been told.
Mm-hmm. And it's the
Ain't
same
too many things
area
looking
that
more like that
we
above.
had our, like I said, that image. No.
Now, at one time, Wendell and Stephen James, they got a on thermal image moving down through the creek around Area 2. And another member got hit with ultrasound and he got nauseated, didn't he?
Nausea, sick.
Yeah.
Just shakes.
So in Area 2, when you go in, you think it's just flat ground on the side of a mountain. You get about a mile back up in there, and you get about a 34-foot drop all the way along sides of the cliffs going through there. And did you tell him about the Marcus doing that whoop and then the answering call?
No, I didn't get that. Hadn't told him about that. Yeah.
Well, go ahead and tell him about it. You tell the story better than me.
Marcus.
That's a gentleman right here.
While we was up there at that time, I think it was our actual second time we'd been up there, is we chopping firewood and everything, and Marcus ended up his the last one chopping it because the rest of us was dragging it up and it was getting dusty dark, and part of our team had to take somebody out whose leg was hurting, so there was only 4 of us there, right? Me, you, Greg, and Marcus.
Yeah, just 4. No, he wasn't there.
No, Matthew wasn't there
Just
at that
4.
time. And anyway, I was sitting on the tailgate. I had my gun laying inside the bed there, and I just had it there for security, just in case something happened. And we were sitting there and we was all talking about, well, let's make some Bigfoot whoops. And we all discussed who would be best. And Marcus had actually got a reply that I'd heard from one up at Mountain View off of the side of his farm. And I'm like, man, hey, you sounded pretty good. So anyway, I finally got him to go ahead and make a whoop, even though he didn't want to. And instantly when he made that whoop, he got a reply from some edge of the bluff line, which was probably 50, 75 yards at the most.
No, about 50 feet, and then the woods, and then it dropped off about 15 feet cliff.
Whatever it was in the 2 trees that was there, and then jumped off that cliff. And as that time, I whirled around, got my gun, and I was under the edge of the truck bed that had let down, and I was kind of like, what in the world? And his buddy Greg that was there didn't believe in Bigfoot at that time, but touched me on my shoulder, and I just about knocked him out with my elbow because I went like that. And he was shaking. He said, what was that? And I said, that's that Bigfoot you don't believe in. That's been the craziest night I've ever been out on a night investigation.
We was just all sitting around camp enjoying ourselves. I mean, we didn't think Bigfoot was that close.
No, because we done had a bad all day long. Nothing went right, and we was like, there ain't nothing around or nothing.
My rifle was in its case under my back seat of my truck. My pistol was on the dash. I was just sitting there on the tailgate, and I tell you what, the hair stood up on the back of my neck.
Mm-hmm.
And Wendell told me the hair stood up on his neck too.
Yep.
It's just me and Marcus, we stayed guard till 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, we couldn't go to sleep. And that morning, after that, was that the morning that they called back and forth around our camp?
Yeah, they kept coming in and out from our camp.
I mean, you went to sleep.
Yeah.
About 6 in the morning when they woke up.
Yeah, when they woke up, we went to sleep. Yeah. So it's a hot spot down around Turner's Bend.
I don't know if he knows where that's at or not, but from
Where's he out of?
Tennessee.
It's Turner's Bend, Arkansas. It's a campground. Mulberry River goes through there, but it's a hot spot for Bigfoot. About 20 or 30 miles as the crow flies is Devil's Den, and they had an old boy from Oklahoma disappear for over a year before they found his skeleton, about 100 yards from where he's supposed to disappear. They had people down there searching. You might have heard about that old boy from Oklahoma that disappeared down around Devil's Den about 3 years ago.
I've got a couple 411 books laying over here beside me. I could look and see if he's in them. I know David Pilates talks about places with devil in the name and all that. People go missing. I don't know if that particular case is in there, but
and there's a few more stories that people has gone disappeared down around Turns Bend, the areas down in there. They found an old boy's ATV wrapped around a tree. They still ain't found him.
Nope. They found his boots, though.
They found his boots?
Yep.
I didn't hear
about
that.
a mile away from the ATV. But that's where we're going to have our fall investigation at.
well, be careful. Like, do y'all follow David Pilates at all? Missing 411.
I have, yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say that the whole thing with
The
finding
David
nothing but the boots, that fits right into it too.
I read
Yeah.
I read the first book, 411.
Yeah.
I've got his
And the clothing
coat
is mentioned,
and-
like you said, stacked, some of it's folded neatly.
Just be careful down in there. Personally, I don't know if Bigfoot's responsible for the 411.
Oh, yeah. That's
I always believe there's something else
not
going
all
on there.
of them.
Well, I was going to ask,
Possible. Yeah.
you said it was that fella's whoop that brought it in the last time you got eye shine up there on the hill or the ridge. Maybe you had to let one rip and see what happens.
Hey, go ahead, Marcus.
Oh, he's camera shy.
He's camera shy, but yeah, he
He's
did
good.
good. He's
He's
good.
That just popped in my head. Well, last time he did one, he got a response. Well, he can do the whoop off camera. We'd be able to
Last
hear
time
him.
we was down there,
Yeah.
didn't you and the boys take a trip down across the creek and found some cedars down there? Tell a little bit about that, because I wasn't there that night. You know, you did a night investigation, and you, not Stephen, but that old boy from Kansas City.
Oh,
Something outside.
Well,
what
believe
was
it or not,
his name?
I don't remember his name. I kicked him out of the group.
Yeah.
hang on just a second, fellas.
Talking about that one that was talk too much.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
All right.
Hang on just a second. Believe it or not, Mom's hearing something outside here now. And this is why I say I'm not a professional, because every now and then I have to get up and wander off in the middle of the show. But I'm going to go check and see what she's hearing.
Right.
I'll be back. I hope I'll be back in a couple minutes anyway.
All righty.
The one that drove the Jeep.
No, the one that had a little car.
The little car
The
that
one that would
went back to
make camping by
Kansas.
himself.
Yeah.
No, I do not, but that was the foolish thing he did.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony
Anthony Shields.
Shields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put a 357 had birdside in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's stupid.
That's stupid.
Unless you're rattlesnake country.
All that's going to do is anger one. I wouldn't even know if you could shoot the eyes out with one.
But you guys went on an investigation, a hike.
Yeah, with him that night.
With Kendall Bray.
Yeah, it had I know what you're talking about now, where it was just a whole wall of a path through the cedars off the hillside to where it would be behind the caves. You know where we went down off in area 2?
Yeah.
It would be behind them to the east.
Tell him about it on the show.
All right, when he gets back,
Who knows? We might be broadcasting right now. Who knows?
We are.
Oh, okay.
Somebody's watching it, but I'll tell him when he gets back. But yeah, it was
I'm
just
back.
a corridor. Yeah, I figured out what, or remembered what he was talking about. We had a guy. It wasn't the same investigation that he did the whoop at, but
A year later.
a year later, we had an investigation there and had a guy come from Kansas, Anthony Shields.
Yeah.
And we went down into an area. It's kind of, I get my directions anyway. It's off of Area 2. It's a road that leads out of it. And we went down through there, and we hadn't had no signs really much. And then all of a sudden we started seeing different breaks. And Anthony's actually the one who saw the breaks first. And he started following them, and we was going on down towards the creek. And he said, "Hey, come on over here, guys. Look at this." And as we followed the breaks, it got to where it was just all cedars, from wood and cedars to just a cedar thicket. And right through the middle of this cedar thicket was about a 4-foot path that went off the hill. And it was just like everything had been pushed to the side. All the cedar trees was laying up at an angle like this, and it just made about a 4-foot wide gap right off the mountainside that way. And everything, it was either freshly pushed or had been pushed long enough that it had died, and it was a dead cedar. So whatever it was, had been using this repeatedly over and over, and it was strong enough to push cedar trees that's anywhere from 10 to 12 inches through. And it just pushed them to the side. I mean, it didn't push them all the way over, but it just made a path off there, off that hillside. So that's another area that we want to go look at again. We didn't get to look at that during the daytime, so we want to look at that in the daytime and actually try to follow it and see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what kind of activity
interesting.
did you hear there? Your mom hear there?
I saw something move out. We still got a couple small solar lights right now. Right past the edge of the deck, I saw something move.
Right.
Looked like it had a tail up over its back. I think we got either a strayed feral dog or coyote around it. This happened the other night too.
Huh.
She thought somebody was walking on the deck, and she hollers me, and I ran in there. Every time I got there, I saw what looked like a dog or coyote go through the yard behind my truck, down the driveway out towards the road. It was almost pitch black out there. You can't hardly make nothing out. So it looked like to me, it looked like it had a tail up over its back. Could have been a cat. If it's a cat, it was a good sized one. But
Yeah.
Was that him? Was that you? I heard
We're
you the
getting more and more.
camera there a minute ago.
Yeah, that was
I
Marcus.
thought I heard him. Told you we'd be able to hear him.
Yeah, he's good at it. I joke. Yeah.
Well, he is good.
He just got just the right tone. I don't know what it is, but
Everybody thinks it's a female Sasquatch.
yeah.
The way it sounds, it's like a female Sasquatch.
I don't know if I'd said that on camera.
Mating call, huh?
But we joke to him all the time that he's got the right mating call there. One of them's going to get him one of these days.
I'll see him try.
We joke about that. We all joke
You
about
live
it.
up around the 2 lakes out there?
We all
I
joke
said,
about
you
it.
live up around the
Calls
2
and
lakes
tree
area?
knock smoke, we have no idea what they mean. What's that?
Right.
That's true.
That's true. Yep.
It could be a mating call. We could be ringing the dinner bell.
Yep. We don't have no alphabet or language for them. They know what they're saying. We don't. We just try to imitate it and no telling what we're saying.
What was y'all saying there? We got a little bit of delay. That's why we keep stepping on each other.
Yeah, sorry. That's because we're out here doing Wi-Fi and it's about at the reach as far as it'll reach.
Well, I'm on Wi-Fi too, so it could be on
Clint
my
was
end.
asking.
That's okay.
Go ahead, Clint. Ask him your question now that he can hear.
Well, I was wondering if Wendell said you was out in Tennessee. Isn't
Kentucky.
you got a legend about a A wolf walking
Oh.
on two legs?
He's from Kentucky.
Kentucky. Oh, okay.
I'm
thought you said
pretty sure I know
Yeah,
what you're
I
talking
did.
about, though.
I messed up.
Land between the lakes, the Wolf Man or Dog Man.
That's it. That's it.
I
Yeah.
don't know a whole lot about it. There's a researcher and his son, father and son, with the whole family. Johnny Henderson can tell you more about it than I can, because he lives right down there, apparently, right in his back door, his backyard. Basically, I know it was back in the 80s. Supposedly, an entire family got slaughtered down there. There's a dad, a boy, a mom, and a little girl. And they found the dad and the little boy just outside the camper.
Was that
They had like an RV style camper.
Yeah.
And the wife, I believe, was inside the camper. They found the poor little girl, I don't know, hundreds of yards away, and 14 or 15 foot up in a tree, just ripped up. That's the famous. And
Well, I'm understanding the little girl was found because the state trooper had something dripping on his hat. And he looked up, and there was blood coming out. She was in the tree, and blood was coming down out of her.
Like I said, I don't know the details.
Wendell told you,
Johnny, they've got a YouTube channel called the Cryptid Institute, I think it is. You could go to, and like I said, they do a real good story on that. They got all the details and everything.
Okay.
And personally, me, I can handle
anybody
Sasquatch.
Does Bigfoot and carry some type of weapon.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I can handle Sasquatch, but as far as the dog man goes,
anybody
don't want to. I sleep better at night thinking they're not real, but
No,
apparently they are.
I believe about the dog man or not.
Can you?
Yeah, on camera.
See if I can call it. Yeah.
Shit, no, I don't have a picture of it on my phone.
Got it. When we yeah.
See if you can show that to him.
Nope.
No.
Here, let me see it real quick.
All I'm seeing is a
I'll
glowing
have to
screen.
send it to him. Yeah.
Yeah, wait a minute. Can you see it?
Now you can see it.
Just barely, yeah.
That's a handprint that was on my van window. I'll send you the. He's gone now, but I'll send it to you. That where you can actually see it. When we was at Sillamore, we all camped in the area, and one of them actually come into our camp and started to drag Dale off in the tent, and I was sleeping right below that handprint it had put on the window. I don't know what if it's just a coincidence or what, but anyway, it actually put that handprint, and everybody's looked at it, and you can tell it ain't no bear.
I was parked probably as close to the ridge coming up. I think it went past my truck, and it left my truck and went to Wendell's van, and then it went over to Dell's. Well, something woke me up. I'm thinking, boy, it's cold in here. I'm going to start my truck up. And I started my truck up, and it saw the lights, and that's when it left Dell alone because it kind of knocked us out of Dell's tent that night. So we had an interesting night. Did you all find some footprints down by the spring?
Yep. We found 3 different sizes of print, and that's the same ones that ended up at night and was after Austin. Because we thought they'd be over there where the footprints was, but they ended up being across the creek from us, and they just accidentally lucked onto them and got bit off more than they could chew.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
I was going to ask
you
you
let
talk
y'all
about
do your podcast.
I was going to ask something real quick if you don't
You what?
mind. I want to ask a question real quick if you don't mind.
Sure, go
The
ahead.
part you was talking about there where he was trying to drag Dale, you said, off in his tent or his sleeping bag. I've heard a lot of reports that they'll
Yeah,
bump somebody's tent or
Tent.
something, and either there'll be more than one person in the tent, and one person hears it, sees it, the other person sleeps right through it, or the person just rolls over and goes back to sleep. Now, personally, if that happened to me, something grabbed the tent and shook it, I am not going back to sleep. I wonder, do y'all think that could be a effective
I don't think Dale did. Hey, Dale, come here.
infrasound, or
Let Dale tell you about it. He's coming.
Yeah, let Dale tell you what he went through that night.
Oh, by the way, we was all teasing him that Bigfoot would get him that night.
Yeah,
sleeping in
before that.
Where am I at?
There you are.
What are we talking about?
What? Fill him
He
in
was telling me about
from
getting
the time we got to.
Oh, yeah. No, we got up there. It's funny. Wendell and I got there first, and then Wendell had to leave, and we just got the campfire going. And you never know how quiet it gets until it gets quiet. You know, it's just every sound in the forest stopped, and I'm like, this is the spookiest thing I've ever seen. You know, I just felt like something was watching. My tent up, and they think, you gonna sleep in a tent? And I'm like, yeah, why? And they're like, nobody sleeps in a tent around here, you know. And I was like, well, yeah, I'll sleep in a tent. Got my dog with me and everything. So I had my tent set up. Well, it was probably about 40 yards away from the
main group. Yeah.
main group. And we got in there, and it was like, you know, I heard coyotes and all kinds of stuff. I heard coyotes right outside the tent, you know, and I would sleep fine, and dogs all curled up with me there in the tent. And it was like, what woke me up was I heard crunch, crunch, crunch in the leaves right outside my tent. And I'm like, whoa. I kind of woke up. I think maybe I was kind of imagining that or something, you know. I listened kind of. I was like, yeah, I was just dreaming that. I laid back down. Bam! Right up the side of the head. I thought, golly. And it hurt. Something popped me good, and still something was touching the side of the tent. And about that time, I heard this real low, guttural growl coming from the other side of the tent. Dog gets up, jumps over me, growling at the door of the tent. And boy, I mean, and then I guess when the dog started growling, it just stopped. Boy, we sat there for a long time. I'm like, boy, what's going on here? I said, it's got to be Marcus messing with me.
I was passed out.
And I unzipped the tent real careful, and I opened it up. I looked out there, and man, there wasn't a soul moving out there. Everybody was snoring, lights out. And I'm like, man, I got to get to my car. We waited for a while. I unzipped it real careful, and boy, we made a run for the car. Got in, slammed doors, and locked the things. And wasn't no sleeping. We stayed there waiting for daylight, waiting for everybody else to wake up or whatever, you know. And our old Clint heard his truck start up over there. I was like, yeah, he's awake anyway, you know.
Yeah.
But it seemed like daylight was never going to get there. As soon as I could see just a hint of daylight, boy, we made a run for the fire pit. It was scary.
That's why I was telling them I heard these reports. People say they rolled over and went back to sleep. Something like that. I don't know if I'd ever sleep again.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I don't think I'll ever sleep in a tent again. Never. I don't care if it's in my front yard. I'm going to sleep in a tent again. It's not happening.
What are you going in the back of your truck?
Well, it's in the back of my truck. But
It makes me wonder, some of these people, you know, that do report, well, I just rolled over and went back to sleep. Or the guy that was sleeping right next to him in the tent didn't hear nothing. I said, I wonder if that ain't an effect where they're getting zapped with infrasound. where one of them wakes up and one of them doesn't, or they just roll over and go back to sleep. Because, like I said, you would think the last thing you want to do is go
Possible.
back to sleep.
Mhm.
There's only two
when you
people
sent me
that I
that
know that
picture-
got hit with it. My former lead researcher, Neil Hogue, which left the group, he actually found Area 2. I give all credit to him. But he got hit by it, and Marcus has been hit by it. That's the only two people I know. And they both pretty much said the same thing about the effects of it.
Mm.
You can tell them the effects of it.
No, I don't know if I want to.
Okay.
Pretty bad. That's
it's
all
pretty
I can say
bad.
is you'll get dizzy. You'll feel like you're going to puke, and it's like it's trying to pull you to it. And
I sent you that picture of that handprint on my window on a couple on Messenger and then on a.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the you guys. Enjoy the conversation.
Yeah, I was going to see if I could
and,
pull it. I don't know. I'm not the most tick stabby guy in the world. I was going to see if I could share it here. And
Well, I was trying to get it on the comments here, but it ain't letting me put it on the comments, so I don't know. But anyway, that's the handprint. It's amazing that I was asleep right underneath that handprint. The only thing between me and it was a glass.
yeah, it don't look like it's going to let me.
But I
do it
had
either.
Thelma right there. No, I had
There he
Thelma
is.
right there asleep with me. That's my shotgun. So
Hang on just a second.
but
stand right here with my hands up. No, I see it. Yeah, but then you walk this way. You don't see none of it.
That ain't it. Try to see if I can put this up here where anybody else can see it.
I ain't got it on my laptop there. Otherwise, I could have put it on the comments, but it wouldn't let me putting it on through my phone. It wasn't giving me the option of a picture. It just said just words.
I copied the link and put it up there. I have no idea if that'll work for anybody or not. I was looking at it. I
Yeah,
can
it
see it clear as
should.
day in Messenger.
The claws on it is it's amazing. About an inch and a quarter claws that stick out of the fingers.
Mhm.
Imagine if that got a hold of you. It'd tear you apart. That's what would happen.
All right, I did that. I might be able to. Ha ha. Me smart to do good. Maybe.
All right.
Did it work?
Maybe. Don't do like I did today. They fixed it for me. I have a new inverter that I bought to where we can have power when we go out everywhere. And first thing I did, I crossed the hot with the negative and negative with the hot, and it blowed the fuse in it. And they had to solder another fuse in it and get it back working. But that's how my Tech stuff goes.
Well, I saved it to a new folder on my computer. Thought I could upload it from there, but apparently not. Oh. It's clear as day there. I can see it perfect in Messenger. Like I said, I wouldn't want it reaching through a window and getting a hold of me.
Yeah. Not at all. No.
Y'all believe that was a Sasquatch or what they call a dog man?
we're still on the fence. I hadn't seen no dog man tracks or nothing in that area. It's all been Sasquatch. And what led us to that area a year before that, which would have been 2016, me and Marcus was turkey hunting. It's in the national forest, and we had seen some cross the road there. So we went down in this side, which is mostly cedars again. It's not a deep bluff line, but it's a bluff line. And we was in there and started hearing something. It's chattering. It was chugga, 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 and then a boom, boom. And it was from all around us.
Good.
That's the best
Don't
way.
do that when I'm up there in the woods with you. I climb a tree.
So I called a buddy of mine, which is done passed away now, name of Tony Maddox. I said, listen to this. What is this? And I mean, it was loud enough you could hear it on the phone. It was all around us. And he said, I put the phone back down, and he goes, get up slowly and leave that area now. And I said, why? What is it? He said, I'll tell you when you get out of there. If you don't call me back, I will be up there. And I said, okay. So we made it out, and I called him, and he said, was in the nesting area there where there's Bigfoot all around you. And I'm like, dude, what? And at the time, like I hadn't been into it much. You know, I've heard chatter talking, but this didn't sound nothing like chatter talking. But anyway, so that's what made us start researching in that area there. And we found all kinds of tracks, and I brought them up there. That was the first time when we got that handprint that as a group we had been in that area. And that's the first night. And you get that on the first night, you know you're in a hot spot.
Did you tell him about the that recorder that was down there?
No.
You need to tell him about that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, our video camera recorder I'd placed out in the woods. That was when we first got there, is so that maybe we just hear something, you know, or see something. It's got like an hour recording time on this small video camera. And we're sitting around the fire and everything, and you can hear us talking, and whatever we say, something out there in the woods in a real deep voice that says, yep. and we don't hear none of that while we're talking. We're continued talking. And I get that back to the office there and just playing it, you know, and I'm working around, and all of a sudden I hear that deep.
Like, yep.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm like, whoa. So I still don't know what that was, but if it is, they have more vocal ability than what we give them credit.
Well, I've heard a couple other researchers pretty much same basic circumstances and results. They heard human speech. I know one researcher said we thought it was so and so. Come to find out, so and so was back at the camp, and they said it mimicked the other researcher's voice almost to a T. And I've heard 2 or 3 on podcasts talk about people here.
Well,
y'all listen to Sasquatch Chronicles at all?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the siege of Hanoba?
That didn't make.
The woman talked about her husband would be out in the field or something on the tractor, and he'd call her name real loud, you know. Well, lo and behold, the husband's in town.
Won't work.
Ain't nowhere else. She said she hears, I think her name was Susan. I can't remember for sure. Coming from Woodlow. Susan. That's creepy.
Oh, yeah, I remember you telling me about that. Yeah. Well, that's the way that was. It was a really low voice that said, yeah.
It was funny, you know, as Marcus I think as Marcus was asking about some Kentucky Fried Chicken or something. He said, "Where's the chicken?" And her window side, it's over in the back of the truck. Do you find it? And Marcus says, "Yep." And then you hear, "Yep." On that recorder. Oh my boy, that's something. Thing was imitating him.
Uh-huh.
I was gonna say, I remember another report where the guy claimed that he would be outside the house and you could hear it calling its dog's name, his dog's name.
It's still there. That's it.
Okay.
I thought I was just hearing things.
No, I heard a whoop before.
I did too. Yeah.
Well, we got our first whoop for tonight.
That's cool.
I don't know if it was
I can hear
replying
it. It
back
wasn't too loud.
to Marcus or not, but yeah.
Think about it, you do a whoop or something, you might not get an answer right away. It might be 5 or 10 minutes later. I've had that happen.
Marcus hadn't done his in at least maybe 15, but it sure did come down from up there.
Like
It
I
was
said, I could hear
softer
something
than normal,
before
but
you all started looking off to the side.
yeah. I don't guess anybody's got any questions they want to answer.
Nobody's asked anything
Yeah.
yet. We've had 2 and 3
was
viewers
just-
at a time, pretty much the whole time.
2 or 3 minutes ago was a whoop.
That's Marcus.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Well, I got one thing to say. I saw he's got a 44 Magnum on his hip. Now, if you go Bigfoot hunting, take a weapon because that thing is really an ape. It's not a human. It's a monkey. It's a North America ape. And people's disappeared. There's a long history of people disappeared.
Looks like a signal's dropped out on us a little bit.
You go Bigfoot hunting.
Yeah, we lost the signal there for just a second.
We
We
back?
can make out the gist of what he was saying.
Take
you
a
hear
weapon
me?
with you when you go Bigfoot hunting.
Yeah, we caught that much.
Yeah.
And like I was telling
Okay.
him, I was watching a video last night with Nick. I can't remember his last name. Starts with a V from the Dogman Project. And he demonstrated a lot of non-lethal weapons and devices you can take with you, not just for Bigfoot, but for other wildlife, for anybody that don't want to carry a gun. That was on Jeremiah Fountain's podcast. He had him on there, on the Trail of Legends, I think he calls it. Anybody wants to go check it out. It was real interesting. Because I know
But yeah, there's
some
all
people
kinds
are
of
no
things
kill,
out
they
there.
don't want to carry a gun. Well,
If you want to use bear spray on one,
talk about bear
one guy
spray.
from Canada, he's make these long, kind of like a spear. Got what do you call those stun guns on him?
Stun guns.
He's got a stun gun on a spear that he makes up in Canada. But you know,
Mhm.
Canada, they don't really have that many guns up there.
Considering all the wildlife they
I don't
got,
know,
you would think they'd
it's
be armed with
Just
teeth.
from everything. You'd think, yeah. Always just prepare for the worst when you go out, and if it don't happen, you come back safe. Then hey, you still got it, and you can use it again if you had to, like all of his Batman belt, or your gun. Just your safety's the most important, or should be to you. Coming back safe, that's the key. like your deal going
There's
out in the
no-
daytime. That's the best time if you're going to be out and just looking for sign. That's the safest time. Now they have been reports where they didn't come back during the daytime, but most of the time they do. 90, I say 95% of them out there, they're just they want to know where you're at and move around, and they're just curious. But now there's that 5% that's territorial and just mean. That's just it. Well, humans is the same way.
I never say just like
There's
people,
a lot of
there's
places I don't want to go because of the people.
And just like
Yeah.
humans, it might be as simple as
Good and bad.
you run into one that's got a toothache and a bad mood.
Yeah. Yep. I know all
Like I
about
said,
the toothache. I had that
Sequoia Sierra
during the snowstorm.
in there.
I thought I was going to die from a toothache.
Oh, there ain't nothing like it.
Do what?
Take
Oh.
a weapon because it's a North American ape and
Take
people
a
have
weapon.
gone and signal dropped out. He's just talking about people have gone missing throughout history, and to take a weapon to protect yourself. We talk about there's non-lethal weapons or regular firearms. There's Sequoia Sierra. I mean, take something. If nothing else, you're like me. I take a during the day. I at least take a
Take
buck
something.
knife or a ball bat, something. Because, like we said, there's other things other than Bigfoot out
Ball
there:
bat.
bear, cats, coyotes. There's 100 things in the woods that could kill you. Bigfoot's only one of them.
Yep.
I wouldn't try to hit a feral hog with a baseball bat. I'd be climbing a tree.
Well, I don't have to worry about the hogs too much here in Kentucky. We ain't got them up this way yet. At least I'm in north central Kentucky. They ain't come this
We
far
got a lot of them
anyway.
down here.
Oh, yeah. Y'all are famous for the Razorbacks.
Yeah. They hogs everywhere here.
Well, that's just like here in northern Kentucky. You get the occasional bear that meanders up this way from eastern or southern Kentucky. Around here, about all you got to worry about is coyotes, bobcats, snakes. You got copperheads, water moccasins, cottonmouths.
That's another reason we try to do our events in the fall and early spring. There's a lot that want to do their investigations or invite us during the summertime, and I just don't want to be out there with snakes.
I'm not a big fan of snakes myself, personally.
Yeah.
Only thing worse than a snake's a spider, which I realize every time I go in the woods, they're out
Right.
there. I just try not to think about it. Yeah, but as far
And in
as
the winter time, you can actually see through the trees. It's better.
yeah. Well, I think that's why there's more sightings of Sasquatch during the fall and winter when the canopy's down, the leaves are down. Because like we was talking earlier, here in Kentucky,
Yeah.
dead of late spring and dead of summer, the undergrowth, the canopy, and everything's so thick you can't see more than 40 or 50 foot in front of you if you're lucky.
By your trail. Yeah.
What's that?
Somebody walked up. They're going right. They went right in between your trailer and that window right there.
Right.
Yeah. Watch the video. They walked out from.
I thought I saw
can't
something
see it,
moving
but,
back there earlier, but I thought it was just one of you guys moving
Yeah.
around. Because I saw something white.
I mean,
right?
I don't
Well,
know
I
where
don't
that's
know.
coming from.
Right about where
Yeah.
that shadow's at now, right around that window.
Where
I
that
saw
light's
something
going in
white,
there.
but like I said, I just thought it was one of you fellas.
Huh? See? Hope not. I don't think so.
No, it wasn't.
Not
Not
supposed to be
all of
anybody.
us. They're all out here. And I was looking at the camera and looking at you, and somebody walked out.
Be careful.
Something dark looking anyway.
Like I said, I saw something was light colored, almost white. I thought it was a T-shirt or something. I didn't say anything because
Have us a spirit around.
I figured if I
Here,
could
something.
see it, surely you all could hear it.
I don't know what it was, but I definitely.
Whatever it was, them two gonna shoot it.
Yeah. That's crazy though. It just walked right out there and looked this way and went back.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Well, like I said
Nah, I know
before,
it
you
don't
all
stand
even
there
noticed
tonight.
it. Whatever I saw 2 or 3 times. The light colored, white looking object I thought was a T-shirt or something.
Huh.
And I just thought it was one of your guys wandering around back there.
Yeah.
I never mentioned it.
Mm-mm.
And like I said, I figured if I could see it, surely you all could hear it. So, well, that's interesting.
No, I just happened to look up and then walked out and looked this way and went back.
Mhm. Well, it's funny
There
how
you
when
go.
you research Bigfoot, y'all got me looking over my shoulder now.
It's about Clint's height, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Here's one thing I can tell you.
Well, that's another reason I didn't pay no attention to it. It didn't look that big.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but it's sure there. They give me the willies.
Well, like I said, y'all got me looking over my shoulders now.
I told you it's gonna be a crazy night.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was getting ready to say, I'm sure you all know as well as I do, when you start researching Bigfoot, the other weird stuff starts happening, like that right there. That may be perfectly explainable. It might be
Yeah.
somebody. You know what I mean. You start noticing other weird stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why, like I said, I just can't
Here's
convince.
another
I
one.
used to think it
Yeah.
was just an ape or a monkey. Anymore, I'm not so sure.
Up that way. Well, that's where me and Clint differ, but I trust him, and I actually think there's 2 different things out there that's being the Bigfoot, like we've discussed it. I do believe that the North American ape is out there, but I also believe that there's because the descriptions of them facial is totally different so much. I don't think that they may be the same size and kind of look the same, but they're not the same. Because one looks more human looking and the one looks more ape looking. So that's a hard to define them as the same being to me, but that's only me. Back to we discussed that. Everybody's got their own opinion. There's no experts. But from the sightings, they look totally different because one person said, well, no, that ain't what I saw. It looks more like this. And then the other person says, no, it looks more human. So
Well,
they're either the same thing that's looking
and
totally different.
depending on the researchers and the groups you listen to, there's
That
maybe up to 6 or 7 different types. And I've always wondered about the dog man if that ain't just a misidentified Sasquatch. One's got a little bit more canine looking head on it or something. But the witnesses that see him swear up and down, no, this wasn't a Sasquatch. This was a dog man, looked more like a werewolf. So, like you said, I wasn't there. I can't tell somebody else what they saw.
That's me. I can't say it. Luckily, so far, I've only had 2 people actually, and that was through BC Davis that told me about their sighting of a dog man. Like I said, I ain't been into that much, so
I don't want to be into it.
Looks weird.
What I was
Yeah.
interested in doing in a future show, if y'all can find anybody, I've got plenty of Bigfoot witnesses. Well, I ain't gonna say plenty, but I got enough. What I want to do is get a Bigfoot witness and a dogman witness side by side on the show and do like a comparison.
You're
What
right.
Bigfoot and the dogman have in common, what was
Uh-huh.
different, what they do different. Kind of, like I said, some kind of comparison. Thought it'd be
Similarities
interesting
and
to get the
differences.
witnesses
And,
side by side.
right.
The cord goes up the mountain.
Yeah.
That's where you saw that shadow.
Yeah.
Could have come down the mountain, followed the cord, and checking
Follow
it
the
out.
cord. Yeah.
Yeah, possibility.
Possibility.
Ooh.
Hey,
You think it followed your cord?
and one thing is, Wendell,
Yeah. We got power run up there to for them big lights that's on, or that would kick on. And we think it, whatever that was that come around that building there was what was following that cord down.
whatever it was, it went moving.
Makes sense.
It was moving fast.
And luckily, Matthew's idea was beforehand was to tie all the cords to where they're all securely knotted together, not just plugged into each other. So
So you can't knock your
I don't
lights
think
out.
they would unplug it without just ripping everything down. Yeah, just by tripping over it. But
But that don't mean that it already could have been up there and knocked that light off.
we'll know in the morning. Our big lights haven't never come on, and they're run off that cord. So if it followed that cord down, it may have pulled them all down. We'll know in the morning.
Yeah.
I think when
Well, like you said, you wouldn't think they could untie knots like that.
Do what?
I was gonna say you wouldn't think they could untie knots like that. But I told you about the stuffed animal I left out
Yeah.
there, right? The fishing cord or anchor cord I tied it with, and 4 or 5 fishermen's knots. I was like, ain't nothing untying this because from the weather and stuff, it had tightened up to the point. That's the reason I left it out there. I didn't want to mess with untying it. Go back a month and a half later,
Right.
the animal's gone, the cord's gone. I ain't never found a stitch of either one. So maybe they can untie knots. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
They have,
Yeah,
they have thumbs.
that's like
Yeah,
we
they
talked
got
about. That's
thumbs.
one more example of higher intelligence. I'm locked in on that spot behind you now. Every time the shadows shift, I look over there.
Yeah, you see the shadows when somebody moves over and walks, but it wasn't a shadow. It's something come around the corner and looked this way and then went boom, back up the hill.
Like I said, when you go back and watch it, I think it did it more than once. Because, like I said, I saw it moving around before you all noticed it, and didn't say nothing because I thought it was one of you all.
That's Clint moving. That's the shadow. That's what it said. I saw that several times when the shadow was moving around, but I never did pay no attention to it. And I was looking at Barry there on the screen. I happened to look over, and whatever it was, instead of walking from this way that way, it was coming out, and he come around the corner and looked, and then went back up the hill. Went back that way.
Of course, we didn't just check on the backside of Dell's house either.
Huh?
We can go down to that one. We stopped in the corner.
I see you got one of the dogs there with you. Did the dog react to it at all, or?
Well, they just brought the dog out. They hadn't. It was inside the house.
I was just curious.
But it ain't acting like it's seen anything. Normally it'll smell and growl. That's what was in the tent with him up at Sillamore.
Mm-hmm.
Usually if it's around, it just acts all kinds of weird.
Well, I've heard people say that, I've got that new bloodhound, Bocephus, and where he's just a little over a year old, he ain't figured out what back up means yet. That day out there, I got whistled at. He was trying to yank my arm out of socket, wanting to go towards it at the tree line. I was like, no, you're going to get us both killed.
Yep. That sure happened.
Now, if he ever runs into one of these things, he might change the tune a little bit. If he ever sees one, he may not be so eager to go running straight at it, but he heard that whistle and he was trying, and maybe that's what that whistle was meant to do. Who knows?
Yep. We hadn't got to investigate. I asked y'all about the dogs coming up missing, but I've had still reports over there where we live of people's animals coming up missing, and it's been within the last 2 months. So we're approaching right at 100 animals that I know in a 10-mile area that's come up missing. That's just an odd amount of animals come up missing in 2 months.
Well, like I told your mom,
and it's from cats, dogs.
Yeah.
What'd y'all find?
Well, like I told you.
There goes dog. The dog run. Come around one end, the dog run around the other end of the dark.
Okay. Well, it makes you jumpy when you're around here and everything's going on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I said, y'all got me looking over my shoulder over here. What I was going to say about the missing animals, Mom reminded me that summer, just us and a couple of neighbors had like 22 farm cats turn up missing in about a 3-month period. And it don't take Bigfoot to pack a cat off, obviously, but for 22 of them to take it. And the odd part about that, after she reminded me about it, I remember out of all of them, there was 2 of them we found, and they were right out in front of the house. And I say found them within 5 feet of each other, not the same time, but found one, then sometime later another one, within 5 foot of the same spot the first one was in. And I couldn't find a mark on either one of them. They was just dead. I don't know if something broke their neck, because they was stiff by the time I found them. I couldn't really tell if the necks were broke or if something threw them against the ground or slammed them against the tree so hard it killed them. But it was almost like they were left where who or whatever put them there knew I would find them there. Couldn't miss them.
Right.
I always thought that was odd.
But yeah, I'm hoping if anybody watches and they got any ideas or things that they'd
we still got
about anything, if we can come up with the resources to make it or build it, that's what we'll do and try it out. That's like all this light system and the baking up in the tree. That was somebody else's idea that they wanted us to try. We have a trap design. It's a snare trap. I was talking. I didn't hear nothing that time.
I heard something come from that way, like a big scream.
But it's basically a 4 foot by we got dogs barking. 18-inch by 18-inch square box, and whatever big foot or whatever it is would have to reach into this box, and when it grabs the bait and goes to pull it, the snare catches its arm. It's a 1/2-inch cable, and you attach that to the trees. So the more it pulls to try to get away, the tighter the snare is, and there it'll be until it breaks that cable.
Or pulls the tree up and takes it with it.
Pulls the tree up or takes it with it. Just depends on how big a tree we put it on and how good it
is.
But that's what I'm going to build this summer. Right.
I've
And
got a
there's all
couple
kinds
of
of trees that was pushed. We noticed that was pushed towards the bluff. Usually anything up there, if a storm comes through, is coming from the south, and the trees get blowed this way. That there was a tornado went through back during last summer, and there's an area up there you see all the trees is all blowed that way. Well, we was up here, what was it, December, and there ain't been no severe storms or nothing like that. And these trees that was pushed over today were pushed over to the bluff.
Yeah.
And it's all along the bluff line pushed onto the bluff. So something has pushed them onto the bluff. And that has happened within a month. So I got pictures of that. I just thought it was weird that they were all leaning on the bluff instead of away from the bluff.
Well, like you said, it's weird. I found some
But who
trees.
knows why they'd want to do something like that.
Yeah, I found some trees that I don't know if they was pushed over or fell, but if they fell uphill. 9 times out of 10 with gravity, a tree's going to fall
That's the way
down.
this is. It's fell uphill.
Which that maybe that could be natural.
That's exactly what I mean in here.
Yeah, it don't seem natural to me, but
Yeah, I looked at it. I had a hard time figuring it out, and then one of them was first, and I was like, well, maybe it could be natural. We went around the bluff line, and there was another one. Went around the next turn, and there was another one that way, and I'm like, now this is 3 trees that's all in against the bluff, not away downhill. Downhill's away from the bluff, so
so you got a pattern there.
But there's definitely 3 trees. Yeah. And they're all it was about the same size. These were young trees that was growing that was probably anywhere from 10 to 15 inches around. And I mean, you could see where the roots is pulled plumb out of the ground when it was pushed over. I mean, it wasn't dead and fell over and broke off or nothing. It was actually pulled out of the ground over onto the bluff line uphill.
Yeah.
That's like just almost impossible for nature to do that way, but it could, I guess.
Well, we noticed something today up there where we put that bait trap up there. There was trees that were laying on the ground, and then there was another tree laying at the end of it, and another tree laying at the end of it, another tree laying like a big circle.
Yeah, and they were all
like, how's that happen?
the small end of the tree was at the big end of the next tree, and it went all the way around that way. And these trees, the smallest one was probably 6 inches through, and the biggest one was probably 15 to 20 inches through. But it made a almost complete circle or octagon, and the small end was at the big end, and then all the way around that way. I mean, that's mathematically impossible for. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 trees to fall to where the small end's at the big end each time, all the way around.
No, that was placed.
Well, that's where we got our bacon hanging up in the tree above that. And that's where we've had 2 whoops and eye shine from. But we just hadn't had the big lights come on. That's odd why they ain't been on.
I wonder if I can cause that thing to reset by
Unplug it and see. Yeah. We're going to try an experiment here. Our big lights, we're going to unplug them and see if it'll reset. It's on a little timer, like a 10-second timer, and see if they'll come on just by us doing that. They did today when we tried them out. Nope.
I don't know if they turned one of those switches different on there after we first set it up. Don't know.
Hey, Dale.
Huh?
I plugged it for about a second or two and brought it back up.
He did.
That's what it did.
It didn't have no effect. So either something's happened to him, or when we reset them the last time we messed up the setting, or something like we said earlier, follow that cord down and maybe it's pulled it in two somewhere. Because they didn't come on. We should have rigged it up to where we had one that we could turn on from here.
Yeah, that would have been neat.
And you could done that if you'd rigged the ground, used the ground as a hot and run it all the way up through, because they were connected on the ground each time.
Yeah.
Should have thought of that, but hindsight's 2020. Something we learned something again tonight.
Mhm.
Sure, that's a light, not a star.
Where? That's a light. We put it up there.
Well, me and Matthew to go up there and check it out.
I don't want y'all to get anywhere where you're at. No.
That's pretty dangerous up there, guys.
No. Two of you wouldn't stand a chance up there. I know y'all willing to do what you want, you can, but y'all ain't going up there, no.
I was listening. I'm still monkeying around trying to put that print up there. Your browser is having trouble sharing your video. What ain't a video to begin with? This happens. The files are invalid. Contact us if you need help. So apparently that ain't gonna work. Well, can y'all still hear me? You froze up on me? I think they froze on us. Yep, I lost them. 1 second. Might have to send them the invite link again. There, it looks like they're back. Yeah, we got you back. You froze up for a second and then
Yeah, I had
dropped
to log
completely
out.
out.
Yeah. Had to log out and come back in.
I was listening. I'm still monkeying around trying to put that picture of the print you sent me up there for everybody. Said something about the files invalid or something. I have no idea.
Huh.
Might be the way I saved it or something. Hell, I don't know. Well, we're coming up on the 2-hour mark here. Give everybody another chance to ask any questions they got while they're watching.
Yeah. We're about dead on power here on my laptop too.
Yep. Well, I appreciate y'all giving us the time and coming on.
Yeah. we'll keep you informed and let you know what happens. And we're debating on the two younger guys want to go up there, and they think they
I
can
called that. Y'all told him it was
make it
too
up there and
dangerous.
shelter. Yeah. So, but they're still wanting to go up there. I don't know. We may cover them from here with the bigger guns and keep the spotlights on them as they go up there and check it and then come back down. I don't know. We're going to talk about it and see, but we'll let you know.
All right. Well, is there anything you want to plug, your site or group or anything before we go? Or
I'll just anybody that can go on hunting and fishing with the Arkansas boys and like and subscribe to it. That helps us out and watch any of the videos. I mean, we don't do it to make any money or anything, but it's good to have subscribers and followers, somebody to look at it at all.
Yep.
And a lot of our deals, we've had a lot of people comment and everything that we have a lot of our cameras and stuff where it's always moving and everything. Well, that's one of the deals. We do it from a live point of view, action. Everything on it's real, so it's hard to stop and film when you're the one moving and doing the camera. So just bear with us, and we love doing it. So we'll keep making shows and like all of our followers, we thank them for watching.
well, I can vouch for
That's
that.
about it.
Downside to digital cameras, when you start moving, they pixelate. I think just you all mine do it too. That's why I kind of went back to recording my videos and then uploading them. Which I got one right now. For some reason, I can't get it transferred from my phone to my laptop that I'm on now. I'll figure it out sooner or later. Well, y'all be careful out there. Have a good time. Best of luck. We'll pray for you for your safety and everything. And like I said, I got a private chat.
We thank you and appreciate it.
You see, that's from you all from UCU, Arkansas boys. UCU.
Yeah, when we was down.
Oh, okay.
It was supposed to say I see you.
Yeah. All right. I just saw it pop up and I was like, I wonder how long that's been there, and I ain't noticed. All right. Well, like I said, God bless you. Thanks for coming on, giving us your time. Anything I can ever do to help you out, part of a show or anything, I'll be more than glad. I got another guy.
All right.
Wanting to do like
Thank you.
Some of these other podcasts do like a round table where you have 4 or 5 investigators on at the same time. If you'd be interested in something like that, we might set it up. Everybody sit around and kind of brainstorm and compare notes and all that. Like I said, I don't plan too far into the future because I kind of take it one day at a time, or at least 1 week at a time.
I do anymore with everything going on, especially with Mom. Oh, I was going to tell you, Mom's able to talk now a little bit and alert a little bit. So after her stroke, so the prayers are working. I want to thank you for them.
No problem. Anytime anybody wants a prayer, I'll pray for them. If I ever get my video uploaded at the end of it, I said, people might call me crazy if they don't already, but I even pray for Bigfoot. I said, who or whatever they are, they're one of God's creation. They deserve mercy and grace and salvation as much as we do. I hope Bigfoot can make it to heaven someday too. So, good Lord, I'm putting a word in for the big man, Bigfoot. If people want to laugh at me, let them laugh. As long as God ain't laughing, I ain't worried about it.
Either way, they're His creation, so same as us.
Prayer ain't never going to hurt nothing.
Definitely, if Right.
Like I told Mom this afternoon, I said, "You ever think about the best way to piss the devil off would be to pray for him? If that wouldn't be what rubbing salt in the wounds, I don't know what would be."
Yep.
Yeah.
That's I'll have to have a conversation with you about Job. I think that was the whole point of it. Everything Job went through was to prove a point to the devil. But that's a
Could
long
be.
conversation another time. But
All
yeah.
right. Like I said, y'all be safe. Take care. Good luck. God
All
bless
right,
you.
you
Have a
too.
good one.
Good.
All right. See you next
Yep.
time.
See you next time.